Hello everyone, Shannon Guss here, getting you ready for our episode 6X interview for Australian Survivor versus the World. If you have not seen episode 6, that is the Tuesday night episode, the final episode of week 2 of Australian Survivor versus the World, please click away. Please don't let this be the reason you get spoiled on another fantastic episode of this fantastic season. Seriously, if you aren't watching, but you just happen to be here, watch the season. But we did have, spoiler alert, Kirby on the podcast today. She is such a huge player with such a massive force in this season. We didn't get enough time because there's so much we could talk about. Hopefully we get a longer chat down the stretch, but very excited to talk to Kirby today. And obviously, as always, very devastated, which has been true, I think, of really all of these X interviews. It's bittersweet, but I hope that you have enjoyed the coverage. We have all 3 recaps out with Chappelle for episode 4, Puya for episode 5, Mike for episode 6. We also have the X interviews with Tony and Sarah that are already out. We will have the final podcast of the week, which is the weekly show with Rob reacting to week 2 of Australian Survivor versus the World. Hope you're enjoying all of that. A reminder to donate to the Chizzy raffle. Get your donations in before it ends at the end of next week so that you can take Chizzy points and donate to a phenomenal cause that is helping the cats of Sydney, helping cats, getting cats off the street and putting them into forever homes. It's forever after rescue. That's what it is. And all of that information is in the recap show notes and on social media as well. Follow me at Shannon Gates, Gaitz. I don't spell it, and it's not my last name, so people might not know it. And WeKnowGlobalSurvivor.com. Subscribe for all of the content. Hope you're enjoying. Hope you enjoy this, and I will see you next time. Kirby, always great to chat to you. Not in this way, though. I'm devastated, but I do love talking to you. How are you doing today?
Yes, it's so good to see you. Yeah, good, good. Look, this is a part of the game, isn't it? And it's an incredible game at that. Blind sides are just bet on the other side.
Yes, and you have a lot of experience with that. I have loved watching you fall in love with the game. It's been such a privilege, and we're so lucky to have you in our game, hopefully for many years to come. But I'd love to get to the start of it all.
Mhm,
David.
mhm.
David, I thought, came in as the most connected player on the beach. I thought David was going to run this game until maybe later on in the game. I did not account for you, and that was my bad. What was it about David, and how did you make this vote happen? Where do you get David over the line?
Well, that's the exact reason what you've just mentioned. He was the most connected, and it wasn't just in gameplay. He came in with these really long relationships on a personal level. So for me, I see him go on long walks with Janine, same thing with Luke, Sarah, and even I don't even think Shaunie as much, but to have those 3 players right in his pocket. And then I think at one stage he came to me and said, "Oh, I really want to work with you. Let's be each other's number one. Tell me about yourself." And I was like, "You don't want to work with me because if you did, this would be a whole different conversation, not a 2-minute one after seeing you go on these romantic walks with everyone else."
Yeah. Well, what do you think was happening at that tribal council? You win on a 3-3-1. Do you think it's those 3 votes, and if they have 4, you're done anyway, and if they have 3, you can get over the line like that? Are you thinking that through, or are you just Kirby style, just going for broke on that?
No, yeah. So there's I did this in Titans and Rebels as well. I planted the seeds with everyone else but David, obviously. I was working with Janine on the side. I was working with Luke on the side. I was obviously with Shaunie and Sarah, and I was trying really hard to work with George. So I'd flagged with Sarah that day. I was like, "What do you think about David?" And she said no. And then came back in the night in the fire, and she's like, "Actually, I think I'm okay with that." But I'd done that with all of them. So I said it with Luke, and he just said, "Look, as long as I don't know about it," I said, "will we still be good? If it actually happens, are we still going to be good?" So that's how those conversations all came together. And I didn't probably add in George's chaos. I didn't realize that he would have been rattled hearing his name, but so was David. So it just happened to work out.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about being on the other side of that conversation. One of the craziest conversations I've ever seen on this show, and I don't think I'm being hyperbolic, where George, tells David right in front of you that you've been throwing out David's name, that he knows that he's a target from David, which you had just told him. What was that moment like?
Oh my God, I felt like drowning myself. I was just
Or
like,
George, maybe. Drown
yeah,
George at the very
yeah.
least. Yeah.
I was like, what is happening? Because because I had known the plan from everyone else, they want to do a split on Shaunie and George. These are two people I'm trying to work with, by the way. So I walked up to him and I was like, "This is what the plan is, da da da." And I saw him just his energy just shift. And then David came out of nowhere like a ninja, and all of a sudden was like, I heard my name, what's happening. And when George said me, I was not expecting it. I
No.
was like, what the hell? What is this? I was fuming. And I try to keep my cool as best I could. And what you don't see is David saying, "Is this true?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I did." And he goes, "Can we talk?" So we went and had a chat, and he's like, "What's going on?" I said, "Well, I know that you're not working with George. No one wants to work with George. And you asked me to follow him to see if he's got an idol. So that's exactly what I'm doing." And he asked for a name. So wasn't that obvious? So I tried to like cool the jets on that really quickly. And then I was looked over to George like, "We need to talk."
Yeah.
And that's the conversation that you see. I was like, "What are you doing? Why would you do that?"
Yeah, it's a credit to you that you didn't just tackle him straight to the ground.
Oh,
So
believe me, it's a lot of willpower.
I can imagine. Well, Sarah, let's talk about Sarah. You're going to be back to back mayoresses of Drury Villa together, or maybe vice mayor with Sarah being there first. This relationship was so complicated. From your perspective, how does it go from being ride or dies to devolving to the point that it does?
Yeah, look, and I've said this a lot. My ride and die, I compared to Ree. There's no other ride and die, and that to me is the ultimate. So you play your game, you do what you want to do, but don't snitch on plans and don't tell people things that they probably shouldn't, and always update each other if there are things that we should probably be aware of. And that didn't happen. I would see she would be saying one thing, her energy would feel like another, and then her actions would look like she's floating. And that made me uncomfortable. So when she brought Shaunie's name to the table, I felt safe with Shaunie. Even though we weren't ride and dies, I trusted no one out there. But I trusted Shaunie the most. So yeah, it was really interesting. And yeah, again, my comparison to Ree, and then just seeing said just flip flop. And I was working with Janine, and Janine said just be careful of Sarah. And then later she's told me that Sarah's dropping my name, and I was like, you just don't do that.
Yeah, well, you invested a lot into Shaunie. Can you talk to me about Shaunie? Because I feel like, yeah, you were protecting her quite a lot. Sarah was coming for her. Really like make sure it's on George as well. And then I feel like Shaunie, I don't know if she outright flips on you when you go home, but it kind of feels like maybe, and she's
Mm.
not bringing you into that, right? So like confused about how that. I don't know how it got to that point because it felt like you put a lot into the relationship with Shaunie.
Yeah, everyone wanted Shaunie sort of gone because she was just a number to them. And she well might have been, but she's obviously a great player for a reason. Her social game is incredible. She is really observant and can notice things that she's like Ree in that sense. Like she was noticing things that I probably wasn't picking up on because I was this chaos. I was the hurricane in that space. So she was really grounding with that. And she was free, obviously, to play her own game and do what she wanted to do. And so was I. And we felt that. So when we got across and we paired up with Suri and Parv, I thought that was going to be a solid thing. And the next day, like my vote off, I leaned over to her and I was like, who am I writing again? Just to see what she would say. And she said Lisa. And I was just like, okay. So we hadn't talked much. But she was obviously playing her game too, which is the way it should be.
But what, like, do you have, because I'm confused. Like, do you have any sense of why she departs from you a bit there, or like,
No, not really. No, I
yeah,
think I think she was just finding her way through. I think in her mind we weren't solidified with those two because Sari was also had her other world players in the palm of her hand. So yeah, we probably weren't in an ideal circumstance unless we voted again together.
right. How would that have looked if you go to the tribal council, like where Sarah wins fire and you don't go to tribal council, but Sarah's immune, Shawnee's seemingly under fire. You were hoping to save Shawnee. What was the plan there if you could save Shawnee if you had gone to that tribal council?
If I could have, I probably would have got rid of Janine if I could have, if obviously Sarah's got the necklace, because Janine's probably the other most connected, but not like her name's come up and yeah, people are saying it, but she's just, I don't know. Look what she did last night. She's just incredible timing. She's a boss for a reason. She's a business owner for a reason. So
Yeah. Well, I'd love to talk about Janine and Luke. Luke is someone you knew from before you even played. You're out there on the beach with him, as you said, like kind of keeping him and Janine in the loop. And you have this relationship and they really choose you and kind of blow up Sarah. But then you're like, but we're going to take Sarah out. And they're like, no, no, that's too much. Like they kind of put it out there and then you followed it for them too hard. And then we see like they come back from that Sarah vote and Luke's like out. Luke even,
yeah.
pitches your name. So how was that relationship going and managing it, especially through that Sarah blindside?
Yeah, well, Luke and I were having night chats, and we said early on in the game not to be seen to talking a lot, like to talk a lot, because people were aware that we had worked together. We hadn't seen each other since the podcast last year that I'd done with him, like for years. Like we're talking 10 plus
Yeah.
years.
Oh.
So our relationship doesn't have the same sort of depth as what his does with everyone else. So we did that consciously. So whenever I thought of David, I flagged it with him. When I was thinking Sarah, I flagged it with him. And just the fact that he didn't realize that I had numbers to do that, I think that shook him a little bit. And I don't blame him for like, nah, I'm done. Like I'm walking away from her. And yeah, he knows what he's doing. He's an incredible player as well.
Let's talk about another incredible player, Parvati. I think Parvati didn't want to let you go. I mean, Parvati's brought in when there's already a majority. I don't think there's a lot she can really do. We were loving this relationship between you and Parvati so much, and it was too short-lived. How do you look back at that connection into this dissolution around later? Because it felt like you guys had something very cool actually going on.
Yeah. I thought so as well. And Sarah saying, not only saying my name and then telling people that, I want big players out. I don't like playing with big players. I love playing with big players. I don't like playing with players who don't like playing with me. So David and George, for example. So yeah, so that probably hurt a little bit. And because of who Surrey and Parv are, they're already on edge about what is the truth. So when
Mm.
I've come to them and said, I will never write your name, I want to work with you, then they're also going, well, Sarah's just said this, and now Janine's saying this, and Kirby's just got rid of her ride and die. Like, there's so many variables to that. But I genuinely did want to work with Parv, and I felt like that she genuinely wanted to work with me as well. And the challenge with that, and I don't blame her for making the decision that she did make, because she had Suri and Suri had the world players. So she had numbers in that. I had, at that point, I thought Shaunie, but then no one. So there would have been a huge risk. And upon reflection, I probably would have done the same thing.
What were your long-term plans? Like, who were you looking to sit at the end with? Who are you looking to go forward with? Like, if you survive that vote, take out Elisa, what does the rest of the game or the next few votes at least look like for you?
Yeah, I would have gotten rid of Cass if I could. She's a beast. Lisa and Tommy, I hadn't had a lot of connection and anything else with. I would have just gotten rid of those three and just played the game out and stuck true to my word. I would have actually, if I could have sat with the biggest players, whether it was Sari, Parv, Luke, Janine, or Shaunie, I would have sat with any of them, whoever wanted to sit with me. I know that
Yeah.
sounds pretty mad, like from a survivor perspective, but I don't know. I like playing the game like that.
Kirby, you don't do it like anyone else. I mean, as Cerise said, she says you're a genius. She says she's scared of you. Like, maybe you don't know the history, but having names like that and Parvati talk about you like they did is genuinely like incredible for them to talk about any Australian survivor that way. And I think that you really cemented your legacy. We saw like the heartbreak. I think like a really palpable heartbreak for you when
Mm.
it goes that way and in your final words. And I feel like you because you've invested so much into this game. You played it in quite short succession. You've learned to love it so, so much, and it looked like that hurt. Like how, I don't want to say how did that feel because I know it was bad, but just talk me through that.
Yeah, like this game is incredible. I reckon I could play it every year and find something
I
new
hope
to
you
love
do.
about it. I think I need a break, otherwise people are going to come for the what did Parv called me Black Mamba. That people are going to start coming for me. But I, yeah, it hurt. It hurt from I think a personal level. My sister got married, and I was meant to be the maid of honor, and she's always been there for me and supported everything. And when this came up, I actually spoke to her at length whether I was actually going to play this and say yes to it all, because this was the biggest day of her life as well. And I knew that day, I was like, it's my sister's wedding day. There's no way I can go out today because that would just break me. I feel like I let her down. There's so many things going on, and I don't really let emotions kind of slide in to me into like even letting people see that. So I was genuinely shattered. I was obviously blindsided from it. And it just was what it was. And I felt that for 24 hours, and I got on with it and got to go and sit at tribal council the next night. So yeah, that was what that was.
That's really upsetting to miss your sister's wedding. I think just shows like the dedication and the passion that you have for this game that we're so lucky to have with you. And congrats for your sister. I know this was a year ago. I hope she's had a happy almost first year of marriage. But yeah, that is really upsetting. I know this isn't really the Kirby way to look back with regrets. Do you look back at anything? Is there one thing where you're like, if I zigged instead of zagged, or was the reputation getting away from you at the point where Parvati's saying that if you go, she's the biggest threat, that you are bigger than Parvati, who has a multi-decade legacy in this game? Is it that threat management, or do you look back at any one thing, or is like that's not how you think about things?
Um, oh look, I do. I always think about what I could have done differently. I think that's part of growth. I think that's the inner athlete in me. So knowing what their strength is and their ability to be able to make magic, what their flaws are, and being able to implement it into the person that I am naturally. So I'm not trying to, play a different brands. But I think if I could, I would have said to Parv and Suri, I do want to work with you, but I am going to vote with the Aussies, and we are going to do this. I think that might have changed things. Whether that would have worked out or not, I don't know. But at least I would have just cemented Janine and Luke probably in that situation. But other than that, I played a fearless brand. I didn't know when I was going to go, so I just wanted to try things, and I got too excited, Chan. I was just, I was up and about.
How can you not be? You're watching you play is exciting. You are absolutely a completely fearless player. And when I spoke to Sarah yesterday, she was like, look, Kobe did the right thing by getting me out. I was coming for her. So, you damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's a hard spot, but you cemented yourself, I think, as a titan of the game amongst the global greats. It's an honor to have you as an Australian player representing us. It's always wonderful to chat to you. I think the absolute Australia v world of you. You are an incredible player. You've, I think, redefined the medium, and it's great to chat to you today, Kirby.
Thanks so much, Shan.
All right. Bye, Cubs. See ya.
Yeah.
Bye.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.